Server mock questions and took answers 34. Identity column and row guard. Set identity insert all and off. Identity column don't allow insert values. So if we want to insert values in the identity column, then we have to set the identity off. We set identity insert table name all. When we want to replication the two databases, and then we use the row guard, and this is just the knowledge we need to remember. Just maybe okay. 35. End-to-end identity, scope identity, indent current. These three are exactly the same. Just return the list insert values, but they also have the difference. For the end-to-end identity, we return the list identity value generated in any tables in the current section. The current section means that the current windows kind of that meaning. Indent current means return a specific table or view, and scope identity means returned in the same scope. Here's a picture. Let me search. For example, there is a table 1 and table 2, and table 1 has a trigger, and when we want to insert rows in the table 1 and find the trigger, and so the table 2 also insert rows. For end-to-end identity, it returns the current section, so it just return the last insert value T2. For scope identity, it's just the same scope. The scope means, for example, the start procedure, function or view, such kind of object means scope. So scope identity returns the current scope, just the T1 table value. Indent current means the current table, so it's just a specific table. So it also the value in T2, T1, sorry. 36. Log and log escalation. When we use the transaction stars, and then we log the database, this is used for us to transaction. So sometimes the SQL Server will automatically update the log into the table log from the row log or page log. For example, if the rows have more than 5,000 row logs, then the system will change to the table log, because table log is better than a lot of logs, just a kind of a row log or table or just page logs. Isolation level. This is also another very important questions usually be asked. When we just doing a transaction, there has several levels of isolation. So the isolation level defines the degree to which one transaction must be isolated from resources and data modifications made by other transactions. Here we have several kinds of logs. Read uncommitted, read committed, and repeatable read, serializable read, and snapshot. Then it's very complex for us to understand this now. So I just join in this picture. For the read committed, it just means that we can read only the committed data. For the uncommitted data, we cannot read. And read uncommitted means that we can read uncommitted data too. That means we can read the committed data, and we also can read the uncommitted data. For repeatable read means it's same with the read committed, but they require the shared lock. And when the table is locked, we cannot insert and delete. For serializable, is also the same with the read committed, but they lock the data in series. For example, there's 20 rows and 1 to 10 rows, we locked them, and so we cannot change the data which is locked. Just 1 to 10 rows, we cannot change them. Snapshot is we do not use the data lock. 38. View schema embedding encryption with chain option. View means the virtual subset of the base table, and it can increase the security of the database. For example, some kind of employees, they can't see others' salary information, so we just create views and do some schema embedding. Then we can create the index on the views. So this kind of techniques, and when we just use the chain option, then we usually need to examine the combination of the views. 39. Materialized view and index view. These two views are the same, just for the materialized view used in an Oracle environment. Index view means that for the view we build index on the views, and then we just can store the data at the views. So the index view just like a table, and if we change the base table, then the index view was changed. And also, if we want to change the views data, and the base table also be changed. So, so index view or materialized view just become the physical table or physical copy of the base table. 14. User-defined function. User-defined function is a function provided by user for and we create it in our user's environment. So user-defined function have some advantages, and we can optimize the compiled, and it can be used as a single unit. User-defined function cannot use the try and catch block. Sometimes we can have a more formidable code flexibility. 41. Keys and keyword. And they just used for us to transfer the data's type. But there is some little difference because the keys follow the American National Standard Institute, that means ANSI standard, and keyword follow the International Organization for Standardization, that means ISO. And also the second difference is that keys cannot transfer the data type such as money, but keyword can change that. 42. Distributed view. This is three kinds of partitioned view, and distributed view is one of them. So the three kind of partition view is local partition view, cross database partition view, and distribute partition view. So for distribute partition view, that just means that we use the partition by functions and separate the whole database into several tables, and we just use union or union or to combine them together, and it can just stop at the different leaf page and start at a different CPU or this. 43. Try catch block. Oh, this is talked. And 44. Add and error. Add and error just for the error's number. This is the function. 45. Start procedure with recompile. You also talk about this. For start procedure, sometimes we need to use recompile option to recompile the start procedure to improve our performance, and with recompile option just completely recompile the start procedure, but we use option recompile, then we partially recompile the start procedure. 46. Difference between start procedure and user-defined function. This is also an important question. For the difference, we can first say that we just called start procedure use execute. Well, we use select to use the user-defined functions, and start procedure can have the input and output parameters, but user-defined functions just only can use the input parameters, cannot use the output parameters. 3. Start procedure, we just return a table variable, instead can create table. We do not return table variable, and user-defined functions will return the table variables. Also, there is some other difference. We can see that start procedure we use the insert, update, delete, and select. All are allowed, but just user-defined function can only use select. We cannot use insert, update, delete. So that means we cannot update the data. And also user-defined function we cannot call start procedure, but start procedure can call function view and start procedure. 47. This is also important question. Delete and toucan. There is some difference between them. Delete is the DML language, that means data modification language, but toucan is the DDL language, that means data definition language. And delete just use the where clause to delete row by row for the delete, and toucan it just delete all the data in a table, and delete can fire triggers. Well, toucan cannot fire triggers. Also delete because it can be rolled back when we transaction, but toucan we just cannot roll back. So this is the delete and toucan. 48. Error handling in stop procedure, we also talk it. It just use try and catch block to examine the errors. 49. Performance tuning of stop procedure. Yeah, we still do that. We can use the set non-count all. We use the qualified procedure name, and we use SP execute SQL instead of execute for dynamic queries. We use if exists and select, and also we do not use the select star. Avoid use the SP name, because SP usually the system store procedure name. We keep the transaction short and crisp, and we use the stat-based queries whenever possible. 50. Merge. Merge is a new feature that provides an efficient way to perform multiple data modification language options in a single statement. So it just executes the statement only once. And 51. Union or intersect and exempt. When we just want to combine some expression, and we use the union and intersect and exempt. It's just a set operate. So for union, it combines rows from both queries. Well, it's kind of in the same way as the union or, just union or also include the common ones, duplicate ones. For union, it just equals to distinct union or. Intersect keep only rows in common to both queries, and exempt keep rows from left queries, not included the right queries. 52. Cross apply, outer apply. We use the cross apply and outer apply to combine the expressions. Because at this time we cannot use join to combine them, so we use apply. Well, cross apply just kind of the same with the inner join, and outer apply same with the left outer join. 53. Depart, date name, date end, and date different. This just is the date function. So get date, we get the current date at time, and data part we get the single part of the data type. So for example, if we want to get the years, this times year, and then we use data type, data part. And for the data name, for example, here we get the August, then we use the data name. For the data end, we want to end some year or minus some year, then we use the data end. For data differ, it gets the time between the 2 days. So we use this syntax: data diff, data part, start time, end time. 54. Trigger, DDL. This question we just talked it. And 55. Inserted and deleted table. This is a very important question. It's called magic table. It's called magic table because we cannot call or select the data from the table, no matter insert and deleted table. When we just execute the trigger, for example, the after trigger, and then we just use this inserted and delete table. For example, we use update. When we execute update, then the trigger was fired, and then this trigger was executed. So update means we delete some table value and insert some value. So For the new value, we just select from inserted table, and for the old value, we just select from the deleted table. So we use the inserted table and deleted table to finish the trigger, and we get the new table. This table might be have the information about the user's ID and um, old data and new data, and modified time, and who modified user's name and service name, and modified the date. This is the inserted and deleted table. And for instead of an after trigger 56, instead of means that we do not execute the statement. uh, for example, if they want to insert some value, but instead of do not execute the insert value, we just stop that and execute some others. For example, return some errors. For after triggers, it just can insert successfully, but we just fired the trigger and shows the modified informations. That means after trigger. 57. Index. Difference between clustered index and non-clustered index. This is also important question. For index, it's just to help us to retrieve the data fast, quickly. Then we have two kinds of index, clustered index and the non-clustered index. So the difference between this is clustered index just like the people's phone number. So it's just use the B tree, and it is only one cluster index in one table, and it's physically stored with the base table. Well, for non-clustered index, we can have 999 non-clustered index, and it just a pointer to the exact value and search the table. So it does not store exactly with the exactly the same order with the base table, and it's stored at the other space at of the space, and this is just the difference between them. 58. Composite index. Composite index just means the index is not only one column, so it's more than one column to be the composite index. Included column in non-clustered index. This just we talked because the non-clustered index, the key columns have some constraints for the data type, less and constraints, so we want to add some non-key columns to the non-clustered index to avoid the bookmark lookup and key lookup. So this is the included column, and the included column do not start at the other levels. It just start the leaf level page. So 60. Filtered index. Filter index, we also talked about it because it's just an index and we add the filters on them. For example, we use the where clause to filter the index, so we avoid to scan the index.